Alright, how's it going? My name's Kiki.
Hey, Hui.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Okay, so before we start, I just want to cover some bases. There's everything we talk about here is going to be pretty much confidential.
Okay.
There's only 4 instances where I have to breach that confidentiality. Instances where there's potential harm to yourself, a minor, an elder, or others. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. And are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. And while I'm conducting the interview, I'm going to be taking notes.
Alright.
It just kind of to help me keep track of thoughts and keep organized. And maybe questions I want to ask a little bit later. If you at any point want to see what I'm writing down, feel free to. I'm not hiding it from you.
Okay.
So yeah, you good to start?
Right. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Hui. So we already went over that your name's Hui.
Yeah.
Tell me where you come from.
Came from Vietnam. It's a country from Southeast Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up there. Grew up over here as well. So I spent half my time here and there. Yeah.
And sorry, where did you say in Vietnam?
Southeast Asian country.
No, but what city was?
From Saigon. It's the southern city of Vietnam.
Okay, it's a pretty popular city.
Yeah, it's the biggest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you say you moved here?
2007.
2007.
2007.
Coming up 11 years now.
11 years.
Okay, and so obviously there's differences in culture, from here, San Diego to Saigon. So can you explain to me about your culture?
The culture in Vietnam is pretty much people are more laid back.
Mm-hmm.
People are less confrontational about issues. So everything goes like people tend to be more passive aggressive about things they don't like, and that might potentially cause like issues like gossiping and hazing, and then try to especially in like a work environment or like school even. When I was going there, that's what I experienced, just what my dad experienced. But overall, people tend to be friendly to each other. Yeah.
Friendly, but there's that passive aggressive.
Yeah,
nature.
there's a passive aggressive nature.
So you have to hold stuff in, and you can't express your discontent.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's due to the Chinese teaching of I think it's Confucianism. Confucius.
Confucianism.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
It's pretty much anything you don't like, do not show, and gotta be polite, gotta be obedient.
And that's
you don't really
reflected
have a voice.
in the Saigonese culture, Saigon culture.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, in the overall Vietnamese mentality, everyone tends to be like that, north or south. But the south is just more populated.
Okay.
So you sort of run into situations more than other places.
So that's interesting because people from New York are different than people from California, but in Vietnam, it's pretty much the same mentality. It's just the population is different. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. And so after moving here, what do you think some of the biggest differences are between American culture and Vietnamese culture?
Like I said, I believe that people are just more honest about how they feel over here, and that way things get expressed very, very easily, versus if you don't like something, you keep it to yourself, or find ways to work around it. Here, if you don't like something or you like something, you just say yes or no. Just tell the person straightforward. The same goes with dating. In Vietnam, it's more as I remember, back then it was only 12, 13 years old, right? I like somebody, I have to... That's a skyline, that's really nice. In Vietnam, this is how people tend to go around dating. If you like somebody, it tend to be a more one-sided love for a while, that you have a crush on that person. You try to do things good that that somewhat show affection towards that person, but you don't really say that you like them until that person pick up their end. And over here, pretty much if you like somebody, you go up to her or him and ask them out. If they're free, go grab coffee, go eat. So So culturally, dating wise, I prefer how things work over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was that hard to get accustomed to when you were transitioning over here because you had been raised or in the culture where you had to keep stuff to yourself? So was that one of the biggest things that were hard to transition to when you came here?
Well, I'm blessed that I came here at such a young age where I'm able to adapt pretty well to the American culture.
Well, how old were you? So this was 2007.
I was about 13 years old when I came here, and pretty much I immediately assimilated to the culture. You know, I had American friends. They were like, and I embrace American culture even before coming here. So it's just I feel like things accelerated pretty fast for me, like in the integration part.
It wasn't a rough transition.
It was not really. It was. I mean, there were issues, of course, that people like, oh, this guy doesn't know much English, like, you know. But for me, I just ignored that because that's sounded like a setback to me versus like my other peers who came from Vietnam at the same time. They took it as more of an offense to them personally than just like a cultural difference that people have to go through. So
interesting. Okay, so what does your culture mean to you?
My culture, my Vietnamese culture. Being raised in Vietnam, however, my mom's side, which makes up the bigger part of my culture, cultural identity, they are Chinese. So for me, I always I tend to in Vietnam, I identify myself fully as Vietnamese because they didn't really like the Chinese culture back there. And over here, I came here, I grew up with my cousins and my aunt who are of Chinese culture and Vietnamese culture, but I like both. I pick the best out of it, both. I like the openness of adapting to other cultures.
You didn't feel compelled to choose one or the other?
I didn't really. I somewhat felt like if Chinese culture is good at this thing, I'll go for it. And like say keeping family tradition, or like keeping a Thai family, you know. And what I like about Vietnamese culture, usually the food and just the hardworking part, you know, of being Vietnamese. Seeing my my dad especially, who is Vietnamese, like raising me. Yeah.
So and then you mentioned Chinese culture too. Is that from your mom's side of the family?
Yeah, on my mom's side. Yeah, that sort of makes up a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
and what are some differences between the Vietnamamese and Chinese culture, if there are any?
It's pretty much it comes down to my family was very, very religious in Buddhism, so the way to worship is different, and it stood out to other people that, I mean, as I was growing up, that a lot of my friends didn't have family traditions like these, but I do. So
what are some of those traditions like?
Just like pretty much the day to morning, like my dad's grandparents, or like the you know, worship my grandparents pretty much. It's
when you pray to them, or
yeah, we sort of have to pray for.
Is there like a shrine? Or
there is a shrine
at the house.
At the house,
okay.
Yeah. It's sort of weird. I thought it was normal growing up until I came over to my friend's house in Vietnam, and here I had friends that don't really do that things, you know.
I don't think it's that weird because I know I've heard about Cuban culture. They have the same similar practice. Yeah. They have shrines to loved ones who have passed away.
Santeria.
It's kind of like that. It's an element of that. So it's crazy how that kind of pops up in different cultures. You know, from Cuba all the way to China and then some parts of Vietnam. Yeah. So it's not that weird, but it's different. But
it's different. It's just. My family was a very different family.
Did you ever did anyone ever make fun of you because of that, or?
In Vietnam, I was growing up. You know, I was taught Chinese, and then pretty much as soon as I got to middle school, I sort of had like a Chinese accent while I speak Vietnamese, and like people picked on that. You know, people are like, hey, this guy is Chinese. Like, you speak funny.
In a bad way, or just
in a bad way? Because over there, like Vietnamese, pretty much like they have a strong resentment towards Chinese, like, which is weird, but yeah, I understand that after years of war and they try to take over land and stuff. So
okay. So we talked about so far. Obviously, you gave me your name, where you come from. You know, you came from Vietnamese, but you grew up like biculturally a little bit.
Yeah, biculturally. That's right.
Vietnamese and from your father's side, Chinese culture from your mom's side.
Yeah. And
you explained to me that you like a lot of those values.
Yeah.
And you still hold on to some of them when you came here to America. I think you said 12 or 13, right?
13.
13.
Yeah.
But you didn't feel like you had to pick one or the other. You felt like you chose certain elements, right, from each one that kind of helped you. And you said other Vietnamese people who kind of moved with you, they had a tougher transition because they didn't have the same mentality.
And then they stuck to the group. You know, they end up speaking Vietnamese in that group because they feel comfortable being
just understandable
in the same same group in a different land. You know, but
so you think that helped you transition smoother because you were so open to hanging out with people who didn't look like you or one who was important to you. Okay. So this one's a little abstract question, but when you were young, where did you see yourself at this current age? So you're 25, 26?
I'm 25.
25? Yeah. Okay. So where did you see yourself when you were 7, you know?
It's weird. I've always wanted to be a leader, so to say that I want to be involved in politics to make the country greater than it was, or so I wanted to become the president of my country
in Vietnam.
Yeah, or like the prime minister. Okay. That's the highest office right now. And as I was growing up, I realized how hard it was going to be to do so, and how corrupt the country is, and it would be really hard.
So Vietnam, the political system is very corrupt over there?
Yeah, in a way, it is. Okay. It's one party, so everything is said and done by one person in charge. Yeah,
interesting.
Pretty much.
And how come you didn't carry? So when you came to America, did you're 13, you're a little older.
Yeah.
Did your aspirations change for what you wanted to be when you grew up here?
Yeah, definitely. I came here, and then I really want to be involved in software. You know, I found out about computers, and then I was aspiring to be a computer programmer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And pretty much my entire high school, I was preparing for that until I went to college, and then
Are you still working towards that right here in college?
No.
You changed your too.
No, yeah,
you told me earlier that you go to state. Is that correct?
I go to state. Yeah. Okay. Right now in a bio program.
A bio program.
Yeah, but I do have my associate in computer science.
From where?
From Mesa.
Mesa College.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I took a couple courses there too.
Yeah. So it's good.
So when you graduate with your bachelor's, what do you hope to get? What career do you hope to get involved in?
I'm right now. I want to be involved in medicine. More specifically, I really want to somewhat contribute in the military as well. So there's a way. So I really want to be a military doctor.
Military doctor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah,
and
in a way,
niche, but
in a way, it pays for medical school as well.
Yeah,
so,
nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking into that program.
Does your parents' idea of success differ from your own?
Yeah, definitely.
What did they want you to go into that, or did they have a preference for you?
Yeah, they do. They really want me to have a stable job where, as an engineer and whatnot, right?
Your stability with
stability is a big part, and I really understand it because they sort of grew up in wartime, and once everything's over, all they wanted is stability, the life, and we, the generation that came after, sort of broke free from that. We didn't really directly experience war on our own turf. So like we didn't really embrace the concept of stability. So like we had more room to dream,
to chase your
execute
dreams,
my dream, you know, and and it's so different from what they want versus what I want.
So did your parents ever try to coerce you into that when you told them you wanted to do this? How did they react?
Oh no,
the military doctor.
They're happy with.
Initially, was there some
of me being the doctor, but they don't really want me to go into military of some sort at all, because until I brought up that it might be paid for through the scholarship, that I don't have to pay for medical school, and they're like, okay, yeah, go for it as long as it's free.
That's cool.
But it's not in the way. Yeah,
it comes from a loving place, right? That they want.
They do.
They want a path that's stable for you and
they do,
where you could support yourself for a very long time.
Yep.
Would you say that money was a problem growing up?
Definitely, money was one of the biggest problems that my parents fought over growing up. And when they came over here, they weren't here with me. It's always been a problem for me as well. Let's say
not enough of it.
Not enough, or like I wasn't able to do what I really wanted to do. Mostly sports, because when you play sport in high school, I played football.
What position?
For me, I was on the kickoff and kickoff return team, and I was a linebacker.
Nice.
So, we didn't really have that many people, and I didn't have my own gear.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Lutheran High.
Oh, it's a small school.
It's very small. Yeah.
Like by
Bonita.
8th Street. Yeah. By there's a YMCA right there.
Yep. Yeah, there it is.
I live right in the area, man.
For real?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So and I wasn't able to afford my own gear, even my own mouthpiece.
They didn't provide it for you?
They did, but
because I know they provide the helmet.
It came from the previous player, which is gross. So I had to wash that, and I couldn't buy my own cleats as well, so I had to work the summer for it.
Yeah.
And I ended up like injuring my foot, and medical insurance wasn't covering for that, so I had to quit.
You had to quit.
Yep.
So that in that way it affects your experience growing up. Other than sports, like sports. And then in other ways did it affect you as well? You know.
Yeah, it's just that I didn't really have a car for the longest time, you know, and
a lot of freedom that comes with the car.
Yep. So a lot of time when I need to go to work or go to school, bus. The route I have to take like 3 routes, 3 buses, like a trolley, and it would usually take me like an hour and a half to get to work.
Extra on top of like what would be like a 20-minute drive.
Yeah, or less, 10 minutes now. Yeah. You know, and so like I used to spend 3 hours on the train, on the bus and trolley, just for a daily commute.
And would you say like oppressed when you first came to San Diego because of that? Or Chula Vista, I guess?
Oh, no, not really. It's just an experience. I just felt that it's something I have to go through before I get to the point where I am now.
So, where you are now, what is so people usually want to be the best version of themselves, right?
Yeah.
What has been the biggest impediment from you reaching that, being the best that you can be? What would you say?
For me, it's time management, pretty much. I wouldn't say I'm the best at using my time. Just
what do you mean? Like, what's wasting time, or what would you consider wasting time?
I used to I used to schedule. I used to make a schedule for myself, and down to the half hour that I use. You know, the slots, and it helped a lot. And recently, I've been so busy with school and work that I haven't been able to do that. And when there is room to improvise what I really want to, what I should do, or like what I feel like doing, then I tend to go for what I feel like doing.
Which is usually what?
Which is usually probably The Office, man. On
watching
Netflix,
TV.
Watching The Office, pretty much.
You talk computer software. Were you a big gamer too? Do you play games?
I don't anymore. I used to spend hours on games, but not anymore. Like I quit games 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So that was your biggest. So time management was something.
Yep, time management was a big part.
And so you freed yourself from that.
Yep.
By kind of going to this sheet, right? This time organization sheet, and it kind of helped you organize your day a little bit better. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I filled out one of those too, and it really helped me when I was in junior college.
Yeah.
So more. I want to explore a little bit more about yourself. So what's important to you?
What's important to me is...
What do you hold to be sacred?
Ooh, I'd say friendship, man.
Friendship?
Yeah, I've lived without the support of my family. Although they love me, but they're not around, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So friends have always been a big factor. That trust, you know, finding a good group of friends to be friends with, and that's why I really hold dear to me. Because at the end of the day, you know, family is thick, but sometimes like friendship is thicker than blood.
That's interesting. Yeah. I grew up an only child, so I can relate. You know, that people always say blood is thicker than water, but it depends.
Sometimes, sometimes.
That's cool. So yeah, we can relate on that issue for sure. What do you usually do for fun?
What do I do for fun?
Yeah. You
So
Netflix, right?
Yeah, Netflix. It's just a distraction, pretty much. But it wasn't so much for fun. For fun, for fun, I used to work out a lot, and seeing how my body growth is fun for me. And then there's another one I like to drive around. It sounds weird, but yeah, I have a sport car, so I take that, drive around.
That's not weird at all. Everyone has their little whatever it takes to get yourself relaxed. I think we as humans we want to be relaxed and tranquil.
And beer. That's it.
Beer?
Yeah, beer.
Okay. So tell me something about yourself that many people might not know.
Something about myself that many people might not know.
You speak Italian. I don't know. Something unexpected.
I understand French.
Wow.
I speak a little.
Is that because you're Thai and Vietnamese?
No. It's just that in a way, my dad sort of molded me. We play a lot. We play a lot of French songs, and growing up.